Welcome to the JCPS MTSS training on the Self-Reflection and Assessment Toolkit with a focus on the high-yield practice, self-reported grades, and goal setting. I am Dominique Dobson-Penn, MTSS Engagement Resource Teacher with Elementary AIS Schools. With me, I have Bo Burkett, MTSS Engagement Resource Teacher for High Schools. Please take a moment to type the case-sensitive bit.ly into your web browser. This will allow you access to all the links for future reference. This slide contains components of MTSS as a whole. MTSS addresses academic, social, emotional, and behavioral development. It also focuses on overall school improvement that is sustainable. Here's a concept map of the departments within MTSS. The MTSS Behavior Department supports schools in implementing school-wide behavior systems and frameworks. The two frameworks used by JCPS are Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, PBIS, and the Behavior Support Systems Model, which is an alignment of PBIS and restorative practices. In addition, the team supports schools personnel in understanding and utilizing classroom management strategies. The point of contact and department leader is Sandra Hensel. The MTSS Academic Department supports schools by ensuring teachers are providing all students with academic supports that includes differentiation, personalization, and enrichment activities that are guided by the Universal Design for Learning principles, focusing on Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions and supports. The point of contact and department leader is Donna Lawson. MTSS Re-Engagement Department supports students who are transitioning back to their home schools from Minor Daniels Academy and Breckenridge Metropolitan. The point of contact and department leader is Dr. Naomi Brahim. The MTSS Engagement Department and the big ideas of what we offer drive from our mission and vision, and it focuses on the core or Tier 1 instruction. Our department leader is Dr. Naomi Brahim. Here are the toolkits we offer. The website is linked to the image for further review. Students can accurately predict how they will perform on a given assessment. They have a clear understanding of what they know. Teaching students to set appropriate goals leads to higher student learning outcomes, which allows students who meet or exceed goals to increase their confidence. Students of color and students with disabilities tend to underestimate their achievement. The toolkit success criteria utilizes self-reported grades to ensure students accurately understand and assess their progress towards goals. The high yield practice definition from 2009 states, allowing students to report their own assessment of their progress towards goals has demonstrated to be remarkably accurate and a predictor of higher achievement. However, there are two caveats. The effect appears to be less robust with students from minority backgrounds, and this assumes that the goals upon which students are self-assessing represents a challenge. In 2012, Hattie reformats his thinking, stating he would rename this learning strategy Student Expectations, to express more clearly that this strategy involves the teacher finding out what are the student's expectations and pushing the learner to exceed these expectations. Once a student has performed at a level that is beyond their own expectations, he or she gains confidence in his or her learning ability. John Hattie explains his thinking about student expectations in this short video.
Self-reported grades comes out at the top of all influences. Now what that means is, right now, I've taught a series of lessons, I'm going to give you a test. Now before you do the test, I want you to predict what grade you're going to get. Kids are incredibly accurate at doing that. In fact, the most accurate thing that we do in our whole system is they know how they're going to perform. Now that's great, but on the other hand, it raises a couple of questions. The first is, you've got to seriously ask why we test kids. In fact, my argument is very simple. The only reason you test a kid in the classroom is to find out what you, the teacher, has done well, what you haven't done well, and with whom. There's not much point doing it for the kids because they know. But here's the killer. What students so often do is they set safe targets. They say, for instance, like we used to do in our university days, well, if I can get a C here, I'm doing okay. I haven't done a lot of work, so just passing's okay. Or maybe I can get a B+. And they set safe targets. Our job, I believe, is to mess that up. Our job is to never meet the needs of kids. It's never to help kids reach their potential. Our job is to help kids exceed what they think they can do. And so understanding what targets they set when they go about their work is important, and our job is to say they can do a lot better, which means giving them the confidence they can do it. Obviously teaching them the skills so they can do it. If I was redoing it again, I'd probably relabel self-reported grades as student expectations, because that's really what they are, is the expectations students set for their work. And my major and loud message is that we need to get in front of that. We need to raise those expectations and give the students the confidence and the skills and the understandings that they can exceed. Doing their best is never good enough.
For the duration of the presentation, we will use the term student expectations in the place of self-reported grades. Today, we will define student expectations and learn how student goal setting can support this high yield practice. You will discover a 5-step process for setting goals virtually and in person. You will also explore ways to customize this process and tailor it to your classroom. Student expectations has the highest influence on student learning with a 1.44 effect size. 2 strategies teachers can use in the classroom to help students develop skills to accurately self-report grades or for student expectations are goal setting and metacognition. When students set high expectations and accurately estimate their performance relative to those expectations, students were more likely to achieve or attain their learning goals. Student expectations is one of the highest effect sizes according to John Hattie. In combination with goal setting, students are set up for success and gives them ownership of their own learning.
The benefits of goal setting. The process of setting goals allows students to choose where they want to go in school and what they want to achieve. By knowing what they want to achieve, they know what they have to concentrate on and improve. Goal setting gives students long-term vision and short-term motivation. Having sharp, clearly defined goals, which students can measure, will allow them to take pride in accomplishing those goals. As a classroom teacher, you should help students create goals that are challenging but also realistic. Doing this will help students accomplish the following. 1, improve their academic performance. 2, increase their motivation to achieve. 3, increase pride and satisfaction in performance. And 4, improve their self-confidence. This short video describes 4 key steps to the goal setting process.
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. This is 2 Minute Classroom, and today we're going to talk about goal setting for students using 4 key steps.
If knowledge is power, learning is your superpower.
Steps. We all have goals that we want to achieve as students. Maybe it's to get straight A's, or maybe to get into a certain university after high school, or a high-paying job after college, or maybe your goal is just to pass your classes. Let me know what some of your goals are in the comments below and in the community tab. Now, let's get into it. Step 1 is to select a goal. This is the easy step. For example, you may have a goal to get at least a 3.5 GPA in all your courses this semester. Great goal. Step 2 is to define your motivation. Why do you want your goal? Maybe you want a 3.5 GPA to be eligible for sports. Maybe it's to get into a decent college. Or maybe it's just to keep your parents happy. Whatever it is, the motivation is what will drive you to accomplish the goal, especially if you get discouraged. Think of it as your reward for accomplishing the goal. Step 3 is to break the goal down. So you want at least a 3.5 GPA. How are you going to do it? By setting smaller goals that build up to the larger goal. This could be things like take notes in every class, study for at least an hour every day, no late assignments, attend every class, etc. I can't overemphasize the importance of this step. Accomplishing goals is a lot like eating an elephant. And how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, of course. So breaking your goal down into bite-sized chunks helps you understand what you need to do to reach your goal and gives you the roadmap to get there. Step 4 is to write it down. If you really want to accomplish a goal, it needs to be top of mind. So you need to see it regularly, probably every day. So write down the goal, the motivation, and some of the main sub-goals and post it in a prominent place. This could be in your room, your car, your bathroom, or better yet, all three. I have my goals for my YouTube channel posted on the wall right in front of my desk where I work on my videos. I see it all the time and I'm constantly reminded of what I want, why I want it, and what I need to do to get it. If one of your goals is related to doing well in your classes, consider subscribing and checking out my other videos. I look forward to reading your goals in the comments here below and in the community tab. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.
To recap, there are 4 key steps when setting goals. Number 1, select a goal and be specific. Exactly what is it that you want to achieve? Number 2, define your motivation. Why is your goal important to you? What will it give you? How will you feel once you achieve it? 3, break it down. What are specific steps you can take to accomplish your goal? And 4, write it down so that you can hold yourself accountable. In addition to the 4 steps the video mentions, there is one additional step that can be added that is aligned to JCPS System 4 progress monitoring. The 5th step to the goal setting process is that students must also check in periodically to see if they are making progress and/or adjust their goals if necessary. Here are some additional tips on how to use goal setting to foster acceleration in the classroom. Have a daily check-in assignment that has students reflect and think about their goal. Use Google Sheets to record numerical data over time and display the results in a graph. Use Screencastify to have students record and reflect on their goal. Have students create a daily journal using Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, or Forms, or by simply using a notebook. Remember that it's extremely important for students to feel supported along the way. So in addition to the ideas above, try to be very mindful when creating lessons by structuring opportunities that will allow students to discuss their progress with you or other peers. So this is an example with Google Sheets that we came up with. And obviously you would list the students in your class down on the side here. And as an example, Johnny Bravo, he set a goal which says, I will attend class every day this week, stay focused and on task, and turn in all of my classwork and assignments. And then in this note, he's defined his motivation. Doing this will prepare me for the quiz at the end of the week, which will help me prepare for the ACT and keep me on track for graduation. So after he sets a goal and defines his motivation or his purpose or his why for why he wants to achieve the goal, then he can predict how well he will achieve the goal. So maybe he says, I think I'll get an 8 out of a 10 making progress this week towards that goal. At the end of the week, he can make a self-assessment. So he can check in. Did he do everything that he wanted to do? Did he attend class every day? Was he focused and on task when he was in class? Did he turn in all of his homework assignments? He can assess himself and decide, yes, I met that at an 8 out of a 10 level, or maybe I went above and beyond and I did a 9 out of a 10. But not only does he get to self-assess, his peers can also self-assess. So in this example, maybe a teacher could assign 3 students to check in on Johnny or to kind of pay attention to how he's doing in class. And at the end of the week, they could rate him also. So maybe student 1 says he did a 9 out of a 10, student 2 says 7 out of a 10, and student 3 says 8 out of 10. And then lastly, the teacher can give Johnny an assessment also. And she might think you did actually better than you thought, 10 out of 10, nice job. And what's nice about the sheet is that it's color coded. And for students, did Johnny Bravo reach his goal? Yes. Do his peers think that he reached his goal? Yes. Does the teacher think that he reached his goal? Yes. And overall, did he reach his goal? Yes. So lastly, he can comment and just say, you know, what praises does he have, areas for celebration, areas of growth, etc. And the teacher can come back at the end of the week and comment also. And, you know, you could do this every week. You could do it every 2 weeks. You could do it every month. But the important part is that students have an opportunity to set goals, to predict their achievement, and then to assess themselves and reflect on whether they achieve that goal or not. So what does this sheet help students accomplish? It really helps to tie in everything that we've discussed up to this point. By using it, students were able to set goals and list reasons why they were important. That was described in steps 1, 2, and 4 from the goal setting video. 2, predict their performance before the week begins, as John Hattie discussed in his video on student expectations. 3, assess themselves at the end of the week, which was the 5th step in goal setting, aligned to system 4. 4, review feedback from other peers and also give feedback to others. This is a perfect example of opportunities to respond, or OTRs, which is a high yield strategy found in the MTSS feedback toolkit. And 5, receive feedback from their teacher about what they're doing well and also possible areas of growth. More than anything, all of this works together to increase awareness and accountability for all students, and above all, it improves classroom culture.
In this video, a 5th grade teacher discusses how she goal sets with her students in person. However, the teacher uses strategies that can be adapted to a virtual classroom as well.
I approach goal setting just as a weekly thing that we do. The kids are very used to it. On Monday morning, they know that they come in, they get unpacked, and then they're going to set goals for the week. This first quarter, I like to just sort of introduce the whole idea of goal setting to them, just coming up with 3 goals for themselves. What kinds of goals do we usually write on Mondays? Nathan, what do we usually do? Personal goal. Jace, what else? A friendship goal. Jordan, what else? A school goal. Today what we're going to do is you're going to pick one of those goals. And what we're going to do today is we're going to think of some action steps. I think it forces them to really reflect on themselves and think about, okay, what is it that I need to work on this week? And by 5th grade, you know, they have tests to prepare for, they have study guides, and they are very aware and are clear on the objectives that we're covering. So I think it just makes them more self-aware of what they need to get done. I want you to get with your partner, share with them the goal that you want to work on this week, and talk it out. What are some ways that you can work on your goal, and then swap? When I have students pair up to share their goals with each other, it just gives them an opportunity to collaborate with a friend and to hear what they're working on. And if their goal isn't specific enough, their friend can maybe catch it and say, well, what about soccer are you going to try to get better at? Or what about social studies are you going to try to focus on?
What kind of goal was that? A school goal?
It was a school goal.
Mine was a personal goal.
A challenge I have about goal setting is that sometimes they're too big and sometimes they're too hard to accomplish. I think about my goal, and whenever it's too hard or too challenging, I think about it and I say, well, that goal was too challenging. Action steps help me with goal setting by giving me
Some of the video key points are model, model, model. You want to make sure that you're modeling for all of your students. Students become self-aware of their learning and take ownership of their learning. Create clear action steps. And don't forget peer-to-peer check-ins. You can even utilize the breakout room if you're doing this virtually. Immediate feedback from a partner is so valuable. And teachers can check in and leave a comment on a Google Doc in order to make sure that they're meeting their progress. Here's an example of a scaffold approach using a sentence frame to help students think about their goal. You can access the Google Doc by clicking the image. Please note that the 2 resources that we shared can be adapted to fit your class's needs. You can't accelerate learning with poor instructional practices in place, and you can't have strong instruction if you cannot effectively support unfinished learning. Therefore, it is so important to develop your leaders and teachers on the concepts and best practices of accelerated learning and strong instruction. Learning doesn't happen at the expense of responsive teaching or vice versa. The core part of strong instruction is responding to the cultural, social, and emotional needs of students while employing curriculum-based assessments that are culturally responsive. If instructional practices leave students feeling displaced, invisible, or unsafe, accelerated learning cannot happen. By adapting a growth mindset, and likewise, trauma-informed instruction and cultural, social, and emotional responsiveness do not require forfeiting strong grade level aligned instruction while utilizing open-ended statements to allow for self-reflection. Some exceptional child education considerations to consider are to increase opportunities for students to display problem-solving skills. Use explicit instruction, guided practice, and model how-to strategies to problem solve and fill in the most critical gaps at the time they are most needed. Also, consider teaching students how to set goals, which allow students to evaluate their learning, which can aid in student motivation.
Deeper learning and problem-based learning considerations. Students must be taught to measure their own progress and determine next steps by tracking goals, self-reflection, self-assessment rubrics, checklists, and reflective journals. All of these strategies can help students answer the following questions: what have I learned? Where am I struggling? And what's next? For more information about the MTSS toolkits and other high-yield practices, please visit our website by clicking on the link below.